Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. It is Monday, the 9th of June of 2025. And I was going to, excuse me, I was going to do something very important on Wednesday to honor fathers. But since I have a guest whose birthday is on Wednesday, Oracle T, let me get this straight. I decided to do the Father's Day now because if I don't do it now, I have to wait until next year, and I would prefer not to do that. But before I get this started, I do want to let you know that I do have a question. Before I do, I'm going to introduce my sponsors, of course. But who founded Father's Day? Was it a man or a woman? Okay, we'll take a little survey. That's going to be very interesting. But before I do that, let me tell you about my sponsors, which is Numerologics. Queen Bee, she also is having an offering on sale for her summer sale products, $50 off, which includes charts, in-depth write-ups, 1 hour. She's very, very detailed. So you have her number there. Text her, please, and that should help you get started for your summer into the winter, things of that nature. Then my good buddy, King Simon, who is doing part 1 this month, part 2 next month, part 3 in August. So if you want to know what's going on, just go to Patreon exclusively. That's at the bottom of the screen, www.patreon.com/King Simon Productions. Okay. Then also Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. She has a weekly wisdom, Astro-Numerology Reveals. She's also adding another branch to her metaphysical services, which is business Astro-Numerology. So for those of you who have a business or a business in mind or actually in business, reach out to her at the bottom of this particular notices. You see Kimberly.com, KIMBALEY.com, and you will get a consultation. It's complimentary. Okay. So you don't have to invest any money, but you can invest your time, and it may make all the difference in the world. Then also U-Juice. Okay. My good buddy Uchenna, whose birthday was on the 3rd of last week of June, making him a Gemini 3, that inspired my app, that inspired me to go on Udemy, bless his soul. He has remarkable products, and you can order by going to Levitt Store, LIVETSTORE.com. That's Levitt Store, LIVETSTORE.com. And then, of course, there is Monique of Nicholas, Brooklyn. They've been celebrating over 50 years in business. They're at 1396 Fulton Street in Brooklyn. So for those of you who want to visit the store, pick up the energy, which is amazing, you should do. And lastly, Jazz Aphrodite, who is going to be establishing a Numerology Mastery Institute. And she is a master at what she does. So please apply there at jazzaphrodite.com to get the particulars, sign up, and become certified. She is official as you can get. So before I do this and answer the question about is it a male or female that founded Father's Day, let me tell you about the forecast. First of all, I forgot to include, I do not solicit for monies or things of that nature for your DM. So if you get anybody pretending to be me on your DM, that's not me. I don't do that. But today is June the 9th. The sun is in Gemini. The moon is in Sagittarius, which means it is a full moon day. Whenever the sun and the moon are in opposition signs, and let me see just to check to see. Well, actually, they said the full moon will be on Wednesday at 3:44 in the morning. But anytime the sun and the moon are in opposition sign, because the opposition sign to Gemini is Sagittarius, it's a full moon energy. So that means if you go out tonight, the moon is likely to be round and full and things of that nature. But anyway, it's a 6 universal day. What's interesting Venus went into Taurus a couple of days ago. It's a 6 universal month. It's a 6 universal day, but it is an 8 universal week. But both 6s and 8s relate to romance and finance and romance. So if you're a Taurus or a Libra, and there's a Libra that I'm going to bring up for Father's Day, which is going to lead to my little commentary on Father's Day. And this includes those that are born on the 5th, the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of any month. Okay, got that out the way. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you find this interesting. Some of you may have decided whether it was a male or female, but there was a lady actually who found it Father's Day. And this is her picture. Her name is Zenora Louise Smart Dobbs. Okay, she is an Aquarius, or was an Aquarius, born on February the 18th in the 1800s. And so what happens is, it turned out that her father was a Civil War veteran, all right? Her father, William Jackson Smart, was, in fact, he was twice married and twice widowed, okay? He had a total of 14 children, but in the case of Sonora, and from the second marriage, she was the oldest with 5 younger brothers, okay? And so what happens is, it was back in, and let me put these some did you know facts up here. This kind of gives you an idea that it actually started in 1908 in a church in West Virginia to honor fathers who had died in coal mines. So for those who way back in the day, even more recently, there was a coal mines in West Virginia, and a lot of times they could be very explosive situations. So when you hear about a canary in the coal mine, that's exactly what they would do, is send canaries there to kind of detect whether air, gas, whatever the case is. Well, in 1909, she, after attending a Mother's Day service, proposed the idea of honoring Father's Day to Spokane. So, and it was actually a year later that the state of Spokane, Washington, on June the 19th of 1910, actually celebrated. Now, that was statewide. If you notice, it was in 1972. I'm saying, are you serious? In 1972, it was officially established in the United States, throughout the United States in 1972. The holiday's origin is rooted in the efforts of Sonora Smart Dobbs, who, inspired by a Mother's Day sermon, wanted to honor her own father, Dodd, raised by a widowed Civil War veteran who raised 6 children alone, advocated for a similar holiday to recognize fathers. And what happens is, let me get this straight here a second. What happens is, her mother actually died in childbirth. Okay, she was the oldest. She was 16 at the time that her mother passed away, and that was in 1896. So what happens is, by that time, when the 5th brother came along, that's when she died. So, women, and I've read clients whose mothers were lost giving birth to them. So I try to tell the brothers, since it's Father's Day, for those who are fathers, that one of the most delicate and most critical times of a woman's life, other than through the normal process of old age or whatever, is giving birth or giving life, okay, or giving birth, call it what you will. So I've had the good fortune of seeing all my children born. I say to y'all are great. I don't care what nobody says. Okay, nobody's perfect. I ain't saying that, but y'all are great. Okay, that much I'll give you. And her father was actually twice married, twice widowed, and he had a total of 14 children. But from the second marriage, he had 6. And when she spoke about him, she did an interview in 1942, of June 1942, explained that how loving her father was, that he was a father and a mother. And yes, you do have fathers who act in the capacity of fathers and mothers, although that doesn't get much credit. Now, Mother's Day, flowers, candies, dinners, this, that, and the other. Father's Day, a little tie, a little whatever the case is. I know my kids always ask, what do you want? I don't want anything. You know, most of us guys, I guess we just want to chill, maybe watch some sports or whatever the case is. But there's a difference, and this is actually, and this is it. She is considered the mother of Father's Day, and again, from the tombstone, you can see she was born on February the 18th of 1892 and died on March the 22nd of 1996. She lived to 96 years old. Bless her soul. So now, this leads me up to the point that I want to make after I finish this. I says, okay, you know, what is the definition of a father? So I went to Merriam-Webster's dictionary on the internet. And oh, by the way, giving credit where this due, this image of Sonora, the founder of Father's Day, was taken from the economic times, okay, back in the day. So I've got to give credit to make sure that nobody gets bent out of shape with this. So this is the definitions of father. It is synonymous, or they say it's fathers. Although I put father as a noun, it's a male parent, a man who has begotten a child. In many words, so a male animal who has side and offspring, whether it's goats, lambs, cows, you name it, okay, males. And it's capitalized God since one, the first person of the Trinity, and everything. And then they talk about forefathers, the founders of religion, the fathers of this, the fathers of science, the fathers of whatever the case is. So here's what's interesting to me. I saw, let me get this off the screen, about a couple of weeks ago, I saw this thing on Instagram, and on the screen was Anthony Mackie. He is the person that played Falcon in Captain America. I think he had a spinoff on his own. You know, I don't keep up with the stars and celebrities like that. But what was interesting was this. In the conversation, he was with his boys. You know how you guys are. We guys, we just talking smack and whatnot. And he was talking about his three sons. And he was talking about how he raised his three boys to be responsible, to be protective of their mom, to be protective of their house. Okay? Makes sense to me. I don't know what father in their right mind don't do that. Okay? Probably to be respectful to women. Do you know, by the way, this image is from Britannia? Okay, just so you know, because I'm not trying to make no money off this. I'm just for educational, informational purposes. So he was up for a big part in some movie play. They actually squashed it. Why? Because of toxic masculinity. I'm saying, are you serious? He didn't say nothing about killing folks. He ain't talk about, the white man, in that sense. He was just talking to his boys about raising his sons. And evidently this was on the Instagram or wherever I saw it, but they actually denied him that part under the pretext of toxic masculinity. So I'm going to say something. Well, first of all, I says, okay, Lloyd, let's look up toxic. What does that mean? All right. So I went back to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, toxic, containing or being poisonous material, especially when capable of causing death or serious debilitation. That's not Anthony Mackie, okay? Exhibiting symptoms of infections or toxicosis, I think that's how it's pronounced. That don't sound like Anthony Mackie. Extremely harsh, malicious, or harmful. That don't sound like Anthony Mackie either. And relating to or being an asset that has lost so much value that it cannot be sold on the market. I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you this. Of these four definitions, this doesn't fit this man. And by the way, Anthony Mackie, and as I said, it's so interesting that the Venus has gone into its own sign of Libra, because Anthony Mackie is a Libra, born September the 23rd, 1978. So now that I got that out the way, let me tell you this. I am blessed to be a father of children, 3 sons, okay? As my father raised me to be a man, you know what I did with my boys? I raised them to be men too. There's a difference of a male and there's a difference of a man, which is to teach my sons responsibilities. If they have children, to raise them with the same care that I raised them with their mom, all those kinds of things. To be respectful to women, to be protective of them, to have a backbone, okay? And you stick by what is right and wrong. And I am just baffled. If I don't know, I wish I could have got a clip and played that for you. I didn't know how to find it. I'll get more sophisticated as I get along. Because when you heard it, he was just talking, him and his boys, yeah, this raise my sons. I tell them to take care of home, look out for the mother. I would think so too. I don't care what color you are. Fathers will tell their sons to do this. All fathers raise their children, their sons to be men. How you going to protect this world? I just didn't get it. And so what baffled me was the fact that he was taking a major part that he was about to sign up for was squashed because of toxic masculinity. And I'm trying to figure out somewhere in that conversation, how can that be? If he was teaching his boys to sell some drugs, teaching his boys to call women out their name, teaching them how, yeah, we're going to go and rob a bank next week, okay? I'd say that's toxic, okay? That's a toxic thing for a man to do, okay? But to just talk about how he raised his boys, that's the same way I raised my boys. And I am blessed with 3 sons, and all 3 of my sons are men, which is exactly how I raised them, which is exactly intentions, okay? So wherever this toxic masculinity came from, these are all my personal opinions, okay? But being a male and being a father of children and having a dad that was a man top to bottom, which is one of my main heroes, my dad, I just couldn't wrap my head around that concept of him losing the part because he's talking about his sons. So I hope it's not true. There's many things you see now on these internets and whatnot. Some of it exaggerated, some is like whatever. I was hoping that was not true because there was no way in that video I saw with Anthony Mackie where he's just kicking it with his boys, talking about how he raised his sons to be protective and to be men, to be mature men, to be responsible. I don't see how that can be toxic in any way. Now I hear this whole thing, toxic masculinity. I think people are quoting things without looking up the definition of these things. You know what I'm saying? So they've got this thing I saw lately. If you're in the woods, would you want a bear or a man? They all want a bear. Y'all can't be serious. And let me tell you this too, being a father, you ladies who have this attitude about toxicity with men, how do you think you got here? That's all I'm saying. If there was not a male that mixed it up with your mom to have an exchange of these energies between them in the most intimate way, and you are the product, I don't know how you can hate men. So does that say if you don't like men, you don't like your dad? Is that what that's saying? So maybe I'm confused. Maybe because I'm out of another generation. I'm a little older, old school. I'm not hip to Gen Z, Generation X, Y, Z, all these other things they got these generations of, they be labeling, But I'm just saying there's the things this that baffles me. And ladies, trust me, if you're in the woods and there's a bear, you're going to run to a man, okay? Or you're going to run for cover. You're going to run somewhere. You ain't going to run to a bear because he's going to chew you up, okay? So that's all I'm saying. And let me tell you another part. Just as I have 3 sons, I have 3 daughters. And let me tell you, as a father, we have more impact on our daughters more so than our men, our boys. I cannot tell you, you would have to be a father of girls to understand that. I know there's a lot of drama. There's a breakup of the family. There's a separation of the family and whatnot. But our daughters need us, guys. I'm telling you, for direction, for focus. All my daughters got something going on, but they have no choice. The way I raised them, the way I raised my boys. And I'm telling you, if that's toxic masculinity, then somebody's got the wrong definition of what that means, okay? So if I'm masculine in my frame to raise my boys as men, to raise my girls to be women, I'll take it. But to be known as toxic or poisonous, none of those four definitions fit me. None of those four definitions fit Anthony. And none of those four definitions fit most of the men I know. Okay. Yes, there are some men abusive. I ain't going front about that. That's like saying all men are angels. That's not true at all. There's some men that are very I would say toxic, for lack of a better way of putting it, but they are such the exceptions to the rule on the far end of the scale. But most of the fathers I know love their children, protective of their children, raise their children. And in the Black family, we all have had to raise a conversation with our boys about being careful when encountering police. Don't take this personal. I'm just saying, when I was raised, my father taught me. When I raised my boys, I had to teach them. When my sons have theirs, they do the same thing. This is how it goes. Now, so I'm just saying, for Father's Day, all the fathers and fathers to be, I honor you to the utmost. I'm just saying, be the best version of yourself as a dad. Don't just say, I think the women call them sperm donors. Don't be no sperm donor, man. You can do better than that. It is so important that women are very important that they give life, but we plant the seeds that they have the ability to make the life. And this is all I'm saying. So some of you may disagree. It's okay. You're entitled to your opinions. But the fact of the matter is, none of us get here without the union of a male and a female. You've never seen it in the animal kingdom, whether it's with birds or lions or dogs or cats or elephants or gorillas or polar bears, whatever the case is. There's all that union between a male and a female, and I think that's how the Creator made it to be. So what I'm saying is, for those who have been programmed, because that's how I look at it, programmed to, I don't like men. I'm trying to say, are you saying you don't like your dad either? Because you got to understand, without his part in this contribution to get you here, you wouldn't have been here. So do you love your dad? And so I'm saying, for all the fathers and potential fathers, you are very important. Your role is even more important with the girls. I cannot emphasize this. I thought, with my boys, I could yoke them, we rough it up, we take them out, be adventurous. The girls, though, that's a whole different energy. And I'm saying, men, for those of you who have boys, true. But if you got girls, they need you even more so than you can imagine. And I didn't realize that until they grew into their womanness. They were all married and whatever the case is. And so it does me proud to be a father. Okay. And I ain't going to apologize for none of that. All right. So for you out there, y'all should take that same position, who are dads and whatnot. So I'm going to leave it be. Okay. I'm going to open up the phones because I had to get my 2 cents in. But to this man, Anthony Mackie, I honor him because he said nothing that any male of any ethnicity would not tell their children. They're men, to be protective of their mom, to be protective of the house. This is not confined to any country. This is a universal. I don't care where you go on this planet. All men, when they're raising their boys, will do that. How do you think the world keeps going on? Okay. But I guess their powers to be, they figure, well, we go to war, this, that, and the other. I'm just saying we play a very important role. So any comments you want to make? Fine. Other than that, I'm going to open up the phones now. And I just had to get my 2 cents in with this one. So for Father's Day coming up on Sunday, this Sunday, I will say Happy Father's Day to you. I will say it a little bit Wednesday, but because I have a guest on Wednesday, I wasn't allowed to stretch out. But I wanted to acknowledge to, for those of you who don't know, it was a woman, okay, that started Father's Day. And these things are very important. All right. So I honor Sonora. Yes. And it all started. And she said she was inspired because at the church, which was in Spokane, Washington, in that year, 1909, that there was a piece about honoring mothers. She said, well, why not my father? So this is why in the United States, on the third Sunday of every month, and it's been I just knew Father's Day had been way back there, but it was in 1972. That's less than 55, 60 years that in this country, statewide, nationwide, that fathers are getting their prompts. Okay, so I'm saying we should all honor each other. Okay, I don't know what this riff is. Maybe it's all designed for whatever reason, but that's why I say this is the Live with Lloyd family, and I mean that in every sense. So okay, anyway, I got that out the way. Okay. Any comments? Listen, I am open. I am not perfect. I realize that, but at the same time, I'm giving props where it is due. Okay. The fathers don't get much play. Okay. Hi, Sister Maya, and thank you. And this is Numerologics. And let me see. Let's see. Yes, she gets it right. A woman. This was in the earlier part when I opened up with who is a woman. Yeah. I mean, women are the givers of life. I mean, that's automatic. Without women, we don't get here. But without men, we don't make that happen for y'all to get us here. So God knew exactly what he was doing. The Most High says, listen, your role, my man, is to do your job. Your role, my sister, is to do your job. And y'all mix it up, okay? I'm just kind of be polite for evening purposes. Y'all mix it up, get busy, make things happen, and then poof, here comes the third one. All righty. So anyway, okay, this is wishing Father's Day, okay, and this is Cece. Let me see. And this is Oracle that I'll be having on this coming Wednesday. We have known each other. I have been blessed to know great, great people, period. And I think I have to give my mom and dad credit for raising me not to be a knucklehead. Okay. They could have raised me that way, but they were from the South. And it was about, as I teach my granddaughter, one of my favorites. Well, I always got favorites when it comes to my kids, but manners are magic. Manners will open more doors for you than anything, rather than being abrupt, rude, disrespectful. All it is, and it don't cost nothing to show people respect. It don't cost nothing. Now they want people to just be kind of like, just, I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'll tell you this, I'm not down with none of this. Okay. This is learning to love it. Thank you very much. Learning to love it. You didn't give a birthday. Maybe you'll give it later on, but thank you very, very much for the donation. Okay. And by the way, I never solicit donations. Only when I got on 19 Keys and Brother Rich, because they take donations. they don't be playing when they take donations. So I guess when they came from seeing me on their platforms over to mine, they go, it's nice. I mean, and believe me, I ain't turned away nothing. I got 6 children, okay? 3 boys, 3 girls. So that's all I'm saying. But the point is, it is not my role to be here like, okay, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Then I missed the whole point of having this platform. Okay, here it is. She gave a birthday. Her birthday is learn to love it. Okay, first of all, you are a Taurus. You are earth sign with a fire number. You're born on the 19th. Now, in the tarot deck, the 19th is called the Prince of Heaven. But when I talk to women, I call it the Princess of Heaven. In essence, denotes honor, success, and esteem. It is composed of the Alpha and the Omega, which means you have the ability to start what you finish and finish what you start. It also represents the first principle. These are the leadership numbers. So normally, and in fact, this is the same day as Malcolm X's birthday. This is the same day my mom and dad got married on, in fact, back in the day. And so this combination of a number tells they speak their truth, then they backed up with an earth sign, which is a fixed sign under the sign of Taurus. So I know that you can be something else. And more than likely, you've had some positions of leadership, a manager, supervisor, run a business. But being a pushover, none of that's indicated in your birthday. And your key numbers or angel numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. And your best days are always on a Sunday and a Tuesday. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Thanks, Chaz Aphrodite. That's nice. I hadn't even thought about that. So if you dads, or maybe y'all want to treat your mates or fathers for a reading, that's good. I hadn't even thought about that. Thanks, Jazz, very much. Okay. Let me see. Okay, Numerologic says Hollywood does not like strong melanated men or positive family unit values pertaining to the family. It appears to be so, because as I said, that when I saw this clip of Anthony Mackie, it couldn't have been no more than Anthony Mackie, excuse me. It couldn't have been no more than 30 seconds, 60 seconds at the most, and just talking about how he raised his boys. And then he can't get the part because it's toxic. Something's up. Trust me. Something's up. Okay. So thanks very much. I tried to do something different. Okay. Shantae. Okay. Okay. She says not the bear. That's what I'm saying. So you ladies, y'all, when y'all hear all that stuff, I want a bear as against a man. Y'all have never seen a bear, obviously. Not unless y'all went to the Bronx Zoo here in New York or in your respective states or wherever you live at. And you look at a bear and you got a choice between a man and a bear. I pray that comment says I need to go to a man for some protection up in here. Okay. Because a bear is not human. A bear has no rational thinking in that way. And after you eat you all up is kind of too late then. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Okay. Okay. Now, here Sharon West says, I made sure my daughter and her dad had time to develop their own relationship that doesn't include me. Yes, there is a very special bond between dads and daughters. Trust me, I didn't realize that until my girls got big and I watched some of their girlfriends. When their girlfriends around, their friends was like, I says, wow, their dad should be proud of them. And my daughters would tell me, a lot of their friends don't know their fathers. And I'm saying, what? If they only knew. So guys, I know sometimes we play games with each other in the court and I don't like him and I ain't going to let you see. I've had that brought to me too. Okay. Where one guy's desperately trying to see his daughter and the mother just refuses. I'm saying to mothers like that, you're undermining yourself. You have no clue. One day you will get old. One day you will be sick. One day you will need somebody. And we're not taught to kind of look ahead. That's why in other cultures, the older you get, the more respected you are, because they know if you live that long, you're going to have to go that way. All right. So that's all. But I think that's nice. And that says a lot, to not interfere or whatever the case is. I guess this is crazy. This is crazy. And Donald feels that the women are some of them, not all the women, but too many women. It's almost encouraged that women use the child as a prop or whatever the case is, or I'm mad with the father. And the child don't take sides like that. When most children, when they come into this world, they know they have a mom and a dad, and they relate to both. Dads have their roles, the moms have their roles, as it should be. But when you bring both those roles together, you produce a third individual that winds up being better, a better future, a better generation, a better nation as we go forward. All this ugliness and whatnot, I don't get it. Okay. Okay, so Donald's attitude is most modern women are so hurt they hate men. Well, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, because I'm saying, did they hate men? Do they hate their fathers too? Because that's the only way the women could get here. The last time I checked the principles of biology and life in and of itself, that's the only way you can get here, through the process of a male sperm meeting a woman's egg, and badao, here you are. All right. So I pose that question. But once people get used to and figuring out that it's all by design, this is why I call this the Live with Lloyd family, that we really kind of act as a unit, because we all gonna need each other. The way things are going down the pike, trust me, we gonna need each other more than you know. So this is Veronica. Thank you so much for that. Okay, and this is Macho from the Comos, I guess. They are born on November the 6th, of 86. They have 3 children, 1 boy, 2 girls. Very good for you, Monto. I would imagine, I'm assuming this is a male. If so, it's interesting because you are a water sign with an earth number, which is very, very good because that makes for a nurturing kind of personality. I noticed though with number 6 men at times, they're often accused of having control issues. But 6 is about home, 6 is about family, 6 is about health and education. Normally 6 are very athletic at some point in their early life, in school, junior high school, high school. I noticed with 6 men or 6 children and 6 women too, they like a ball of some kind: baseball, basketball, volleyball, racquetball, tennis ball, whatever. If there's a ball at the end of that word, they probably like a golf ball too. Okay. My favorite uncle who passed away was born on this day, Uncle Clemmy Strayhorn. Loved his tennis. And he was very athletic in school. He played football for Hampton Institute at that time. I think it's Hampton University now. And when I stayed in North Carolina with my mom, with my grandmother, he would come home during his college break, and both me and my cousin Frank would actually sit on his shoulder while he was doing push-ups. To us as kids, that was awesome. But that's the beauty. And his son Cedric is just as nice. You know what I'm saying? So Uncle Clemmy passed away earlier this year. But always a strong opinion and loved by everybody. So anyway, I got off track with that because that birthday made me think of Uncle Clemmy. But anyway, so for you this year, it's an 8 year for you. So this is a power year, a year to make some moves, a year to do things that builds more solidity and a foundational kind of situation as it relates to your children. And I will say this to you: love your children and listen. My children now are grown and ugly, as I call it jokingly. Okay. When they was cute, when they was young, they was cute. Now I call them grown and ugly. But the point is, there's not one of my children I don't speak to on the phone that I don't sign up with, "I love you." Psychologically, we need to get into that. I love all my children. They really have no choice. That is my attitude. And that should be the attitude you should have. And tell your children you love them. There was a person I know, him and the mom fell out, and the mother said, "Love him," and she passed away the following morning. And to this day, he still have regrets that he wished he could have told his mother that he loved her too. But he was so ticked with his mother, he wasn't going to talk to her. So you never know when God is going to call you home. And the one thing my children know psychologically, that all of them are loved. And this is very, very important that you should do that if you can, please. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm no counselor, okay? And as Jazz says, both boys and girls need their fathers equally. There are a lot of misguided men and fatherless women because of the absentee father. And let me tell you this: when I grew up as kids and played in the blocks and the streets of Harlem, everybody had a mother and father. Everybody. Then came this whole thing of, they called it at that time welfare. They changed it up and made it sound all pretty now. But the rule was no father was allowed in the home if they were getting monies. And fathers would actually hide somewhere in the house, actually not be there when the investigators came to the house. I'm serious. And then it got to the point where they start talking women, they listen, "I don't need a man because I got the government." So what does the government do? Take our sons and take them to prison. Okay. There wasn't that much. But when I grew up in the streets of Harlem, when I played in the streets, all of us had mothers and fathers. Very, very, very few. Very few. And those few that didn't, because they were either widowed or widower. Okay. So that's how that was. So anyway, so she says, because absent fathers and fathers can be present in the flesh and absent at some time. Yes, that is true. Things have kind of changed. This is, as they says, divide and rule. Yeah, yes, and they divide. So respect, we lost respect for each other as women and men. That is designed, because that was never the case. Up until the 60s, the most powerful group of family was the Black family. You do the research on it, do the statistics on it. That's how we got through the 60s. That's how we got through the 1860s, through the the 80s and the 90s and all that stuff, into the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, World War I, World War II. We had family. During the 60s, it was about family. Now, fast forward this 21st century, you all by yourself, I'm all by myself, and we want to know why we're feeling lonely. So this is me. These are my personal opinions. Okay. So don't take it to heart like that. I just came out of another generation where I understood the importance of family. Family still counts. Okay. You got a family of bankers, you got a family of lawyers, you got a family of police officers, you got a family of military persons. But overall in the family, we do need each other. And only when it hits the fan will you see. Okay. And Mo says he is the father, 100% proud father and blessed with 3 daughters. The daughters need us. I'm telling you, they make better selection with the men in their future too. You know, they really, really do. And I've talked to women who've had where the father was absent in the home, and they will tell you there's something is missing. It's like they can't put their finger on it, but something is missing. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to try to chill out a second. Okay, DS, my man, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a minute. Okay, you're in an 8 year. So now we're in June. So that means 8 plus 6 is 14, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So this is a month of change for you. So next month you'll be in a 6 month, which favors you. And what I simply did was I took the personal year, November the 6th to 2029. That's an 8. So 8 plus the 6 calendar month is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. But 8 added to July, which is the 7th month, equals 15. So it tells me some money, gifts, and favors should be coming your way. Plus Venus just went into Taurus, which governs the number 6, which is you. I would say some things should be picking up for you. Okay. And I wish you all the best too. Thanks for tuning in every day. Often too. I appreciate that. And this is Melanated. Thank you so much. I almost kind of look for her too. Spoil me, okay? Let me see. Since everyone seemed to have their holidays about what about heterosexual day? We need to get a petition going. Actually, we do have heterosexual day, which is why they want to have Pride Day for June. Okay, it speaks for itself. And I think just for our actions as men, our actions as women, there are things that people have preferences for. The only thing I would say is that since God has created man and women since the beginning of time, that at this late date, that you mean God says this woman wants to be a man and this man wants to be a woman, and I'll leave it at that. So I ain't knocking nobody. I'm just saying that I think the Most High knew exactly what he was doing when he made our genders. And there are 2, male and female. So what our mindset says and what the reality biologically is 2 different animals, okay? So I would go by the biology and knowing that, okay? All righty. Okay, this is Goldie Lee. She's born July 18th. First of all, you're in your 52-day critical cycle. Always 52 days before your birthday. I'm looking for my book. I normally keep Jazz Aphrodite's book close to me, where she lists your phases that you go to. You should pick up her books. She's got 2 great books. I'll show them maybe on Wednesday. But you're in your 52-day critical cycle. Not only that, the year is important to you because it's a 9, but you happen to be in a 7 personal year, which is soulful, reflective, kind of quiet and laid back, kind of like going down the rabbit hole of life, beginning to question your motives. And I notice people in the 7th cycle become interested in readings. They're interested in church. They become born again Christians. They start going back to church or whatever the case is. But 7 also is a cycle that lets you kind of make a self-discovery, find out what you're really about. And so if I look at your 7 personal year added to the 6 calendar month, that's a 4. So you're in a 4 personal month right now, which means if there are restrictions or limitations or barriers or kind of boundaries that you got to deal with, that would kind of make sense too. So what can you expect the month of June? Just be more structured, be more organized, and try not to loan no money to people, despite the best intention. If you must loan money, here's what the deal is. If this person approaches you to give them money or loan them money, Do they have a history of paying you back? If they don't have a history of paying you back, you might as well just give them the money. Okay. So that's how you do that. But your numbers are always the 9, 6, and 3. Thanks, Goldie Lee. All righty. Okay. Let's see. All right. Hope you're funny. Speak on, brother. I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying something is not right, man. You when you tell somebody you talking about your boys and you lose a part because you toxic, I'm trying to figure out how that works. Seriously, for real. Okay. This is Prince Patty. They're born on March the 8th and 1984. Their baby's born on May the 9th of 2022. And the wife is born on September the 1st. Okay. Strong girls. Good. Yes. The women in your life don't play. That I can tell you. One is a 9. That's your daughter. She's made a 9. Bless her soul. So although, and here's what I take, in my book, Numbers in You, I talk about the 9 children. They are the fighters in the group. They have a good opinion of themselves. Those are the ones that are feisty. They're very energetic. And I also tell parents of 9 children, since 9 rules fires, I noticed that 9 children like to play in the kitchen. So when you're in the kitchen, you might be busy, but if you're going to cook on the back burners, especially, she just turned 3 years old. So I would cook on the back burners. Just don't leave them in the kitchen. They and they're fighters. So that's all I'm saying. So I've known of children who are 9s to get injured from tilting something over them and whatever the case is. So if you do that, but she's strong-willed. And as for the missus, she's no joke either. I can tell you that too. So you have a very interesting family. You are a water sign with an earth number. Your daughter is an earth sign with a fire number. And your wife is an earth sign with a fire number. So the daughter and the mother are similar in terms of disposition. Earth means very practical and grounded. Fire means very passionate and proactive. Yours indicates you kind of conservative, sir. Okay. But anyway, your numbers, sir, are the 8, 3, and 6. Your daughter's numbers, bless her soul, are the 9, 6, and 3. So there's the 6 in common. And the wife, her numbers are the 1, 4, and 5. So actually, your daughter has two of your numbers, which is a 6 and a 3. So I would say your daughter more favors you, not to take anything away from mom. Okay. But I'm looking at the fact your mother, your wife, and your daughter don't have any numbers that are similar. But you and your daughter have 2, which is a 6 and a 3. Again, your numbers are the 8, 6, and 3. Her numbers are the 9, 6, and 3. So that's the only thing I can come up with. And the mother's are 1, 4, 5. So it's during this so many years that I begin to where common sense begin to take over for me. And if you do look like whoever she looks like, as long as she's healthy, as long as she's protected, and as long as you guys put your best foot forward as parents to make sure she becomes the best version of herself as she grows into her womanness, because she's only 3. So y'all got her at a point where y'all can shape and mold her to perfection. Okay. So anyway, okay. This is Hope Butler. Hope, you are your borderline case that has nothing to do with medications. Borderline in the sense that on the year and location you were born, you would be either a Capricorn, or in another place, you could be an Aquarius. Like Kalia Washington, one of my favorite astrologers, is born January the 20th. She's an Aquarius. Then I know another person, they're born on January the 20th. They're a Capricorn. This is why you need to know the time of birth and where you were born. That's the beauty. So astrology and numerology deals with the birthday, but unlike numerology, astrology requires 5 components. Numerology just requires 3, the month, the day, and the year you're born. Astrology compares 5. 1 is your month, 2 your birthday, 3 the year, 4 the time, and 5, okay, the location of where you were born. That's the GPS. In other words, where were the planets aligned in the heavens at the time you were born? So, for example, if you were born, Hope, in Hawaii, well, that's 6 hours behind. If you were born in China, that's 12 hours ahead. Okay. If you were born in California, that's 3 hours behind. So if you were born in London, that's 5 hours ahead. So this is why hopefully you can understand why you need that information if you go to an astrologer. please have those 5 components: the month, the day, the year you're born, the time you're born, and location, so they can begin to figure out, because it's nighttime here, but it's still daytime in California because it's 3 hours behind us. Okay. So anyway, but this is a good year for you because you're in a 3-cycle year, a year to expand, a year to grow, a year to blossom, a year of prosperity, a year to network to your advantage, also a year that deals with legal and semi-legal matters too. But your key, so if you're on the Capricorn side, your numbers are the 2, 7, and 8, which means Monday and Saturdays are your best days. If you're on the Aquarian side, your numbers are the 2, 7, 4, and 1, which means Sunday and Mondays are your best days, which actually should be Monday and Sunday, okay, are your best days. But anyway, this is a year to have fun and handle your business. All the best. Hope. Okay, this is TC7, okay, 17. Okay, so you are Pisces 1 person, fiery Tony, and it's interesting. And when you use the name Tony, it attracts Capricorns and Aquarians and Libras to you, or people born on the 17th, the 18th, or the 26th of the month. So your name is what attracts the older women, but it's your birthday that attracts the younger women over time. So that's how I'm looking at it. But your numbers are the 149, you're in a 4 year, which matches one of your cycle numbers. And so this is a year to get it together. This year to have a plan. This is a year not to do things in a helter-skelter, on the fly kind of situation. And it also tells me you don't take orders well. And I'm looking at your birthday. I'm looking at them 1s and 9s. Those are leadership numbers. So you should think eventually of going for self, striking out on your own, building your own business, becoming an entrepreneur in some way. And number 1s, as a rule, normally do well in law, medicine, or science, or entrepreneurship, okay? Whatever the case is. So anyway, all the best. All righty. So this is Ken, because I've got very little time left. The relationship between May 17th, 1995, and January 19th. Well, first of all, both of y'all are earth signs, so that's cool. One is the cardinal sign, that's Capricorn, because it represents winter. That's why I call it cardinal, because it's a seasonal change in the horoscope of the year, or the seasons of the year. And you are a fixed sign, which means you're set into spring, okay? So you'll have an interesting combination. You two would make great business couples, by the way, that if y'all got goals or objectives, let's get this house, let's get this car, let's get this land, or whatever the case is. The May 17th is a little bit more conservative, shall we speak? The January 19th is definitely more adventurous. There are many people, Leonard Jeffries, John Johnson, Earl Graves. I mean, there's so many people who are entrepreneurs that are born on this day. So between the both of y'all should be rocking it, because their birthday says that they can, actually your birthdays will do well in business. 8 and 1s are business numbers. In fact, those are the only 2 numbers that are found on the mental or business plane. So collectively, y'all would do very, very well together. And it's interesting because both an 8 and both a 1 are considered up. They appear to be cold or distant or lack or whatever, but they're more on the mental plane. So they don't demonstrate emotions. It's not that they don't have emotions. It's just that their demonstration is more to be cool, calm, and collected, stuff like that. So, and by the way, they're going through a 4-personal year, which means a little bit challenging. And you are going through a 2-personal year, which means things are a little iffy and up in the air. Okay. But there's a lot. So if you want to know, just get in touch with me. Very rarely do I ask people to give readings, but anyway, oh yeah, thanks, Jazz. Download my Star 8 app for your husband, father, or partners here. Go to star8.com. Jazz Aphrodite has done more for me than most people. There are so many people I have to give credit for, but she is a standout. A lot of the things that has made happen, I have to give her credit. Between her and King Simon, I don't know who to give praises to most, so I try to give praises to both. And they're not the only 2, but they have, what they've done has been just so profound in my life, and I really appreciate them to the end. And I'm going to always show them respect. Okay. Johnny Johnson, El Paso, Juarez, Mexico, tune in to LLoyd. Thank you. And this is Antoine's Deutsch Cheese 94. This is Beyonce's birthday with life path of an 8. I would say that's right. But if you notice, you're born in the year of the master number 22, because 1993 adds up to master number 22. That tells me one of your parents conceived you somewhere in December of 1990. Yes, in 1993, which means one of your parents could have been either an Aquarius or a Leo or a Gemini, or born on a date like the 1 and the 4. Your numbers are the 1, 4, and 5. Excuse me, the 4, 1, and 5. Thank you. All right. And it also means that this is a year for you that's going to be very significant, because your personal year is matching your date of birth. In other words, when I took September the 4th, added to 2025, it adds up to a 4. So your personal year is in lockstep with your date of birth, which means that should give you an extra boost, which means it gives you a time to get it together. In fact, if you notice at the beginning of the year, I think Beyonce, who is a September the 4th, same day as you, finally won the big, I guess, the music award of the day of the century, whatever. She finally won it. But this is her year. It's your year too. So you may not be Beyonce, Anthony's, but you are in the same position to do some big things on your level as well. Your key numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and your best day is always on a Sunday, a Monday, and a Wednesday. Okay. Johnny Johnson, you just had a birthday. You are a Gemini 1 person. Your numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. Happy belated birthday to you, my friend. Your birthday also indicates a person who is headstrong. You have to be careful who you get advice from, where you seek your counsel, and how you sign and put your name on legal documents, and being a, whoops, here we go. I'm in the press. Thank you. And so being a number 1, your key numbers are the 1, 4, and 5. These are very independent numbers. You are now still in the period of Gemini, which matches your sign. And you happen to be in a 6th personal year, which may be a bit little challenging, a bit. So it tells me watch your health, get more sunlight, fresh air, some activities, get that out. Because again, nowadays we go to the house to the car to the mall, back, you know what I'm saying? And we don't exercise, but walking for you is perfect for you this year. Sitting in the sunlight, it is, it would be to your advantage. And it tells me, since you're in a 6th personal year and this is a 6 month, you happen to be in a 3. So this is a month to begin to expand your network. July is going to allow you to open things up. Your best month is going to be in the month of August. That's going to be sweet. Okay. So you should take full advantage of that, Johnny. I wish you all the best too. Okay. It's my time. I'm almost. Okay. Okay. Antonia Thomas. Hi, Antonia. May 13th, Stevie Wonder's birthday, and a whole lot more people. Joe Lewis, you name it. You like to think outside the box. You are in a 9 personal year, and your number indicates that because you people don't understand you, that's because you have a visionary type of personality. Stevie Wonder, who was born on this day, one of his best albums was The Inner Visions of My Mind, for a man who could not visually see, but the message that he sung, well, you got those kind of gifts too, okay? You're very unique, very different, very sensitive, very much ahead of the curve, which is why you cannot tell everybody what your plans are. And you happen to be in a 9 personal year as well. So this is a year to wrap things up that you feel has outworn its usefulness. This is a year to kind of like close the curtains on anything there's been some drama and let that go and put that behind you as you step forward on the stage of life. And this is a year to fulfill some of your dreams. And it ain't about what anybody wants in your life but you, Antonia. But your key numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and Sundays and Wednesdays are your best. Actually, it's Sunday, Monday, and Wednesdays are your best days. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And Mado says, thank you very much. I appreciate this too. And thanks, CJ. And I speak it because I've raised children. I still have them. I have 6 children. I'm very blessed. And so these are some of the things I want to share. And when I hear about a brother talking about how he raised his son to be men, to be protective of their mom and protective of the household, and all of a sudden that becomes toxic, I have a serious problem with that. And I'm wondering who is trying to define that definition. Okay. Anyway, And Robin says she remembers that time period. Let me just go and see if there's anybody that made donations so I don't skip them. Okay. And Numerologic says, all this is why I created royalty rules, kings and queens up. Ashe. Okay. And let's see. What I'm going to do is some of you have questions. I'll do that. I'll take that up on Wednesday because my time is running up. I'm over the hour. And listen, the fact that you're hanging there every hour, I could shorten this to 10 to 15 minutes, but I love what I do. Okay. Ho. I got somebody here. Mia, thank you. Thank you very, very much. She is in Aries 6, born the same day as Diana Ross and a couple other famous. Teddy Pendergrass also born on this day too. And your man is born on your man is born on the 10th. You know what's interesting? Both of y'all have horns. What do I mean? You are in Aries, which is horns. He is a Taurus, which is horns. You're like the king of the mountains. You're like the queen of the mountains, excuse me. And he's like the king of the pastures, okay? So it tells me you'll have very strong personalities. And what can make you better is having that understanding that he is just as powerful as you are. And he has to understand that you are just as powerful as he is, okay? Yes, we men like to dominate because that is part of the program. We men rule the rules. We men tell you, but you do have strong women too. And it doesn't take away from your femininity. See, they're shading these definitions of femininity and masculinity. No, your women are stronger than us in some ways that we are not. And when I say that, some men get offended, but no, women have a strength that surpasses us, and we have strength as men that surpass you. And once you understand those roles, you don't have a problem. And so strength is where it's needed. And this is why we need each other, so we could balance things out. And when you work together as a unit, you become very, very powerful. So your numbers are the 8, 9, and 6. His numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. So you'll have 9 as a common denominator, which means you'll need to get your heads together. So on a Tuesday, you probably met on a Tuesday, dated on a Tuesday, and especially in the months of April and November, because your numbers being an 8, 9, and 6 are your best months are January, April and May, October, November. His months are February, April, August, and November. So y'all got that April and November thing going. So y'all may have met, or whatever the case is. But anyway, let me know later on next week, Mia. But I want to thank you so much for the donation. And I know this Aries women don't play, okay? And I'm sure he has found that out too. And I'm also sure you found out he don't play either. So that must be interesting. That's okay. And G30, Gloria, 33, Glorious, September 27th, the Libra. So your key numbers are the 9, 6, and 3, which means there's something about you that's very creative, artistic, imaginative, and expressive. You were born in the year of the 7. Nope. Let me see. 999. You're born in the year of the 8. You have an 8 life path. And so your destiny is to follow business and things of that nature. 8 always deal with ancestors in a certain way. And the fact that you're in a 9-month, born on the 27th, that's a 9, and you're in a 9 universal year, and you're in a 9 personal month. This is a very important year for you, like it was back in 2016 and also 2007. Okay. Okay. I think that's it for, okay. All right. And I will, this is a perfect way to end the show from Quintella. I like that, Mr. Lloyd. We all have our own sets of strengths and weaknesses. That's why we're supposed to work together. Ashe, my sister. Okay. Anyway, thank you all very much for letting me. I like to say run my mouth. It's not. It's just I like to kind of keep you informed. So anyway, I want to wish everybody, all the males, Father's Day. I'm going to say it again on Wednesday. So let me get this off a second here. The comments. So I do want to thank everybody, and I do want to sign out and thank all my sponsors. By the way, Oracle will be on Wednesday. She's a great sister. She's a Gemini, master number 11. Her birthday is on Wednesday. So what appropriate way. And I do have to thank Numerologics or Melinda or Queen Bee for allowing that space. I really had her on, and she says, why not have her on? So it shows the goodness of caring and sharing, and they both happen to be twos, by the way. So at any rate, let me go back. This is Numbers Matter with Queen B. So please check her out at Numerologists. You see it's in blue above the yellow, just above at Tyler B TV. So if you go to YouTube, it's Numerologists, and you see her podcast of things she's done. Speaking of that, she's also offering a discount on a summer sale, okay, which includes charts, in-depth write-ups and whatnot. She is very good. She's a 2. She's very detailed, so that makes sense. Then my buddy King Simon, June is taking place for part 1. Then he's got part 2 in July, part 3 in August. So if you want to be a part of this exclusive Patreon participation, just go to patreon.com/KingSimonProduction.com. Also, Kimberly Williams, I call him as Kimberly, with Manifest on Purpose, a podcast. She's also does features on now. She's opened up another division of her asset column, which is business consultations to astrology and numerology to help people. You go to her at the bottom of this flyer here, or notice Kimberly.com, Kimbaley. She spells her name totally different. But if you do have a business and you're interested as the potentials of it, she will grant you a consultation gratis. Okay. It is a complimentary consultation. So for those of you who are thinking and you not sure, invest in yourself. Also, You Juice by by Chinna, and you go to Levitt Store, LIBETSTORE.com, and also Nicholas Brooklyn, celebrating over 50 years in business at 1396 Fulton Street. Tell Monique or Cafunia I sent you. And also ending it last but not least, Jazz Aphrodite. And that I've done we've done a class together from the Live with Lloyd series, Learn from Lloyd series rather. And I do thank her very much for her expertise. And she is starting a Mastery Institute, and she is one of the best of the best. I highly recommend that you participate. So if you're interested, apply at the bottom at jazzaphrodite.com, and make sure you get your dibs in, sign up, and get ready for the summer. Alrighty. So as I sign off, I do want to let you know that my newsletter, so we're not halfway there yet, but June is flying too. So if you want to pick up the newsletter, it's absolutely free. Okay, you just go to Linktree/numbers in you, and you can sign up. You can go there or go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. For those of you, when you come in, it comes into your phone, so it looks like this. And if you go to the top, it'll say to view the interview at the top right. This will open up where you can see all the zodiac signs. But if you go in the way it is, it'll stop somewhere around about the midway point of the sign. Or if you don't see it and you go to the bottom of it, the posting, you will see at the bottom it says to view entire message. You click on that and it'll open up. Also, you'll see it after each of the best days, stress days. There's a link so you can see the audio portion of the interview. And this audio portion we did for the month of June. So everybody, I thank you very, very much. I'll see you on Wednesday. And again, as a dad, I just had to express myself. That's all I can tell you. All right. So all of y'all have a very nice day. And I'll see you in literally 48 hours.